Cade Klubnik, Haynes King have one thing in common. They are facing make or break moments in week 3 of college football. Their 2026 NFL futures hangs in the balance.
You are Locked On NFL Draft, your daily podcast covering the NFL Draft. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast, your daily podcast covering your favorite draft prospects, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your boy, Damian Parson. I'm an NFL draft analyst with Bleacher Report. That's my guy, Keith Sanchez. He's the director of scouting with the Draft Network and 2019 national champion with those LSU Tigers. And as always, thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and every day. Shout for being our everydayers. If you are everydayer, and if you're not, you know what I tell you, you need to become one. You know what we're doing. Offensive statement makers, those offensive prospects for the 2026 NFL Draft that need to make a statement, the defensive prospects that need to make a statement, and the sleepers to watch on Saturday in week 3. But before we get to that, this episode is brought to you by Mazda. Like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, pulling off the unexpected is only the beginning. Stay tuned later for the highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward. Mazda, move and be moved. Make a statement on the offensive side of the ball, Keith. I go to a guy that was my quarterback of the week, and that is Taylen Green. Keith, Arkansas goes on the road to play Ole Miss, and this is a game to where, again, he's played well this year, but he hasn't been tested. And when I'm looking for when Arkansas offense is on the field, does he have command of this offense? Is he the guy that will control the temperature of his team, right? And not only that, I want to see him limit the mistakes. I'll never tell a player go into a game and play mistake-free football. That's just hard to do, right? The defense get paid too, and it's in college football, NIL, so they get paid too. You know what I mean? Like, it just is what it is. But I'm gonna tell him I want to limit the mistakes. If you throw an interception, it's not good, but all right, cool. Don't compound that with 2 more interceptions, right? And then I'm watching the third down operation, Keith. This is a big scouting point for me this year with quarterbacks is how do you operate? And I'm looking for body, just your body behavior, how you're moving. Like, are you calm? Are you confident in 3rd and 10? Do you look a little rattled on that 3rd and 10? Like you're hyperactive, different things like that. Like where I'm like, he's not comfortable. I want to see you. How do you operate those third and longs, those third downs, period? I want to see those drives either end with a touchdown, a punt, or a field goal. No turnovers. You know what I mean? Like convert or touchdown. You want to see positive things, or again, punt the ball off, but no turnovers. Taylen Green, this is a big time game for him. Because, again, you've done a good job, 11, 12 total touchdowns over the first 2 weeks, but you haven't played anybody. Now you're going into Ole Miss. You know that's going to be a loud stadium. You, Omega Blake, your transfer wide receivers, the run game. Can you do the same things you've done this year against an SEC opponent?
Yeah, shout out Omega Blake just for the name, right?
The name.
Football name all the way around. I like that DP. I'm going to go fairly quick just because I have 2 guys, right? And I think you have another guy too to talk about with this. So I'm going to go, there's a Georgia Tech and Clemson matchup out there in the stratosphere, right? That is set to happen tomorrow. So I'm going to go with both quarterbacks for different reasons. Cade Klubnik, once upon a time, you were considered a first-round draft pick, right? And right now, and then I won't assign all the blame strictly to him because I think the blame can be applied to the whole entire Clemson football program, right? Everybody that's involved. But it's not there, right? And you have to go make a statement. I'm going to tell you why you have to make a statement is because the other guy that I'm telling to make a statement, and that is Georgia Tech quarterback Haynes King, right? This guy already has a couple big upsets under his belt. Last year, they took Georgia to the brink. You know this guy's going to tote the rock 15, 20 times a game. He's tough. He's gritty. He has moxie. To be completely honest, from a personality standpoint, DP and the way they approach the game, they're complete opposites, right? Haynes King almost invites the big time moment, right? He wants the entire offense on his shoulders. I'm looking, but also he doesn't have the same talent that Cade has. Cade is exponentially more talented as a thrower and physical profile than what Haynes King is. So I'm calling out both guys for different reasons. This should be a battle, right? And I think that Georgia Tech, they smell blood, right? They're sharks in the water right now. And they're like, you know what? Somebody is hurting a little bit. And they're like, you know what? If Troy brought y'all to this point, come to our house and watch what we do to you, right? So I think this has the smelling of an upset, but is it really an upset or is it just a trend, right? But I'm calling out both quarterbacks. I obviously want Cade to play better because of just one for himself, right? Like we don't like to see or root for any players to play bad. Two, obviously for the NFL draft and for him to fulfill his dreams and everything. And then I'm looking on the other side of the football and I can't help it, but the competitor in me, the guy that loves football, that understands that it's a gladiator sport. I'm looking at Haynes King and I'm like, go get him, right? Go get it. And so this should be a fun matchup with a lot of underlying draft conversations, because I'll say this: Haynes King just a few years ago, you were undraftable, right? Coming out of Texas A&M, kind of nobody really wanted you, right? You had to find a place at Georgia Tech. There are two things to this. Could this be an ACC situation, right? Where now you're talking about an ACC championship berth, but also Riley Leonard put himself in a decent situation just by making a deep playoff run, right? And I'll say that maybe they have similar play styles and skill sets, so maybe get yourself drafted.
No, it's just they're basically almost carbon copy. Like, you know what I mean? It's like copy and paste. Like, you know, mini Tim Tebow 2.0. Like, you know what I mean? It's like they play the same way, and it's that tough, that physical, that gritty mentality where it's like, I'm not gonna allow my team to lose, right? That Georgia game, I don't know how Haynes King, his body holds up with the punishment he takes. This is not a Lamar Jackson type running style.
No,
this dude
he's not
is
evading
literally
defenders. He's getting hit. You know, like he's not getting touched. He's getting hit.
He's taking head-on collisions, getting up, and still, I think he might have threw for 400 and nearly ran over 100 against Georgia. And I was like, this is like, it was just really crazy to watch. And they took him to like 4 overtimes or something like that and whatnot. So it's like, I think, Haynes King is a good caller, because I want to see what he do in the passing game, because I expect Peter Wood, if the DC does it right, that combination of Peter Woods and DeMonte Capehart, it's hard to run between the tackles on those two. Put those two guys on the field together, leave them there. Like, let's stop rotating guys in. This is not a participation award. Let's let your best players on the field do their jobs. And then you're going to probably see more of the QB counter to the outside, QB sweeps for Haynes King. That way Woodaz, Sammy Brown, those linebackers, all that. So I'm looking forward to that, Keith. I'm going to go to running back, man, and that's who was my RB1 coming in, and that's Jeremiyah Love. And it's not even just – let me preface this. It's not that he needs to make a statement. Dear God, coaches, give this man the football. Like, you're facing Texas A&M, who has Cassius Howell, who looks like he might be the next coming of that first step, that bendy edge rusher, like the Von Millers and Abdul Carter's. Like, he's built like that, and he's got a similar style of how to get to the quarterback. So I don't know if I want to leave CJ Carr throwing 40 times in this game, Keith. I want to run the ball. I want to be balanced. And for me, Jeremiyah Love is arguably the most like complete talent at running back, from vision, patience, footwork, speed to power conversion, top end speed. But then also they split him out into the passing game in the slot and run routes with him. Get this man involved in both aspects of the game, the run game and the passing game, right? Like, I want to see 20 plus touches for Jeremiyah Love. Like, don't let your quarterback just sit. No, don't get me wrong. CJ Carr showed enough athleticism to get away from Ruben Bain, because if he didn't, that one sack would have been ungodly, the way Ruben Bain was screaming off the edge. Yeah, you're dealing with a different dude with Cassius Howell. Different body type, the bend, all of that is different. First step explosiveness, closing bursts, all that's different. Yeah, this is a better athlete downhill. You know what I mean? I don't want to open my tackles to that either, Keith, where you trying to pass protect 40 times against that dude. Like, he's showcasing that he can wreck games. And if you give him the opportunity, Cassius Howard will walk out of here as the MVP of this game. Run Jeremiyah Love, throw it to Jeremiyah Love, and let him help this offense and this young quarterback.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask you a question.
Yeah.
Real quick before we transition. He doesn't remind me of this guy from a building body type, but usage rate. I wonder if he's in track, and I know you're familiar with him just from where you're from. CJ Spiller.
Oh, for Jeremiyah Love?
Yeah, like just because they perimeter guys, very explosive athletes can help in the passing game. Like I just thought about it because I'm trying to think of like not even so much career trajectories, but just like play styles, right? And Jeremiyah Love is a very explosive guy, so I thought about him, and I didn't know if you kind of seen some. In this is weird because it's not similarities in body types, but just similarities in the way they approach the game, right? Like what are their best attributes overall as players?
Yeah, no, there's definitely some similarities between the two. These are two home run hitters, two guys that they get a crease, they hit that sideline.
Yeah,
you better see that. You're gonna see that Tyreak Hill peace sign because they're gone.
Yep, 100%. With DP, let's do this, man. Keep this thing going and flowing. We are switching sides of the football. We talked about those offensive make a statement guys, right? Which guys need to make a statement this time? We're going to talk about defensive make a statement guys. We're talking about those prospects coming up next.
The weekend is almost here. Time to look back and crown this week's MVP on Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash streaks, saving more every time you order, these players delivered when it mattered most. Let's break it down. For the Baylor Bears, it was Sawyer Robertson and his wide receiver Josh Cameron. They delivered in a big way. Talking about a big fourth quarter, 2 passing touchdowns, and big-time plays in overtime to secure a win. When the pressure was on, they came through. No hesitation, no delay. And if you've been watching week after week, this performance wasn't a fluke. Josh Cameron, Sawyer Robertson, they're on the streak. And just like Josh Cameron and Sawyer Robertson delivered for the Baylor Bears, DoorDash delivers your Saturdays with DoorDash streaks. You save every Saturday you order. Stack it up all season, and you can save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday, keep the streak alive, fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period through 11/18. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 back in bonus bets to use freely across the app. I want to repeat that. Right now, new customers can bet $5, $5. That's all. And if your bet wins, you'll get back $300 in bonus bets to use freely across the FanDuel app. To use it on things like player props, building same-game parlays, and even jumping into the live action as it unfolds. So the question is now, are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. Defensive players need to make a statement in week 3 of college football. Keith, I think we both circled this young man. Florida is trying to figure things out. You know what I mean? And Keith, for me, Tyreak Sapp, I think for both of us, Tyreak Sapp is a guy. Because he plays what? He plays like, is he 3-tech for them?
No, he plays everything. He plays,
yeah, I'm going to say he plays
3-tech, 4-eye, 5, did whatever.
Yeah, like he does whatever they ask him to do, he does it. But this weekend, like I want to see, he's going to have to be his presence is going to be felt, in my opinion, with Florida, because they take on LSU. And this is coming off of a loss to USF, right? And this is a different offense that you're going to have to deal with. USF is a grounded pound, physical offense with the quarterback leading the charge. And you know what I mean? And Byron Brown. Now you got the passer, the accurate guy who could do well in the pocket and slice and dice you, but also an outstanding play caller. I don't know who the OC is, but that dude be in his bag, man. I think, and we talked about when I talked about Nuss earlier this week. If it's edge pressure, Nuss is going to beat it. He sees it, he feels it, he can get out. It's the interior pressure that he kind of struggles with because you force him back. He can't really step into the throws, stuff like that. Tyreak Sapp, if you're on the interior, you got to get into his face quick, right? But not only that, keep your hands up because if they invite your rush to throw that tunnel screen to Aaron Anderson, and now you got a 15, 20-yard play. So getting in the face of Garrett Nussmeier, but also stopping the run in that creative run game that LSU has, where it's not just inside zone, wide zone. It's I don't forget the number 0. He's plays wide receiver and kind of running back for him.
Who? For LSU?
Yeah.
Xavier Thomas, I believe.
Yes. They'll motion him in and then run inside zone, motion him in and run GH counter. You got to be disciplined no matter where you are. Stop the run, put this offense in 3rd and longs, and then y'all can pin your ears back and get after the quarterback. I'm looking to see what Tyreak Sapp can give us against LSU.
Yeah, you went Tyreak Sapp. I'm going to go Caleb. I was about to say Caleb Downs, Caleb Banks, right? Both of these guys, both of these guys have to show up in some capacity, just to really be able to make plays, like just to kind of corral this thing. And to be completely honest, DP, to this point, and you kind of hinted at it, is that this LSU offense has yet to really be dominant, right? Like as far as they played Louisiana Tech last week, and the game was 23-7, I believe. I know it was 30 points, right? And there were a lot of things that were missed. And so that's coming off of the game against Clemson, which Clemson was understandable. But I kind of lean more towards Dabo's quote, right? Where he said, listen, we might have played, had a 58 grade and LSU had a 65, right? Like in the sense of the fact of, I think that LSU has yet to hit their stride, right? And if you're Florida, you want to come in there and it's like, hey, how do we score points? And then can we keep this offense kind of sputtering, right, throughout this game? But I also want to bring up 2 more guys, DP, because we talked about that was earlier. I was about to say it was yesterday's episode. That was earlier. We talked about Georgia Tech potentially having an opportunity to upset Clemson. Well, Alabama plays Wisconsin, right? Could this be a potential upset situation? And I'm not saying that I think Wisconsin has a lot to hang his hat on, but it's the same situation where Wisconsin could say, you know what, we smell blood in the water. So I'm looking at Alabama and at the very crux of who you are as a team, right? It's always been defense, right? Like they have always had tough, gritty trench players. So I'm looking at the entire front. I'm looking at Tim Keenan. I'm looking at Kelby Collins. I'm looking at LT Overton. I'm looking at Deontay Lawson. Get the job done, right? Like I think last year y'all held Wisconsin, and I hope I'm saying it's 3 or maybe 13 points. It was low scoring, right? And that was one of the games that Alabama won going away. But dominate this team. Physically dominate this team, go get some turnovers, come out there with the quote that they say, with your hair on fire, go get after it at the end of the day. So I'm looking at that situation and I'm saying, like they have opportunity to get the job done. Go get the job done. And don't tell the offense, listen, all we need y'all to score is 10. We're gonna hold them to at least 7. Right? Like this is where your mindset has to shift, right? Don't put it on Ty Simpson, don't put it on your running back or Jeremy Bernard or Ryan Williams. Nope. Alabama at its very core has always meant defense. We play defense, we hit people, we're fast and physical. So I'm calling out the trench guys in Alabama to make a statement.
I like that, Keith. I'm gonna stick to home real quick. I got two guys I'm gonna close out with. Number 1, Wade Woodaz, the linebacker at Clemson. We talked about Haynes King and just a moment ago in the first topic, Keith. And it's simple. You're gonna deal with the run game with Haynes King, the QB run game. And the Peter Woods and Devontae Capehart and that D-line on the interior can stop the QB powers. You know what you're going to get? That QB sweep, that QB counter, and you're going to have to meet him in the alley, Wade Woodaz, and go back to that LSU game. He bounced back, I think, last week, but that LSU game was rough for him. A lot of that misdirection stuff was eating him alive because he was too aggressive. Like, even just the misdirection, the stretch run game with Durham, like it was wide zone, but Durham knows you are going to consistently be out of position because you're running to meet me at the edge instead of staying square and just staying square in that moment and striking across the second level of the defense. He turns his shoulders. He's running to the butt of the defensive end every time. And Cade Durham was like, thank you. Cut up 15 yards. And it was just like, brother, you got to stop doing that. Against Haynes King, you're going to have to be one of the guys out there to help because you don't want that GH count, that QB GH counter with 2 lead blockers and a power runner like Haynes King on an Avion Terrell or one of your other cornerbacks to try and deal with that. You got to go out there and meet them. He's got to play discipline. And then I think USF, Keith, plays Miami. We know Miami's going to run the football, and especially if Miami feels like this version of Miami they feel a little different than last year, right? They got a little physicality to them, right? Yeah. I think it was Notre Dame when they really wanted to run the ball. Yeah, that's it is. They're tougher. So Mac Harris for me, 6 foot 235 from USF. Expect to see Mark Fletcher coming down the pipeline. Expect to see the 215-pound or whatever he is running back who wants to get vertical and get downhill. You're gonna have to meet him physical. You're going to have to meet him with physicality, man, and limit some of those yards at the contact and bring him down on first contact. Right? Put Carson Beck in true passing situations and make him have to throw the ball down the field. Right? Like if he can get into that little slot receiver, I think who's a freshman, he's gonna cook. Like they're gonna cook if they can do that all game. You gotta make him throw the ball down the field.
Yo, well, DP, listen, we talk offense, we talk defense. Now we're going to do those sleeper guys, right? The guys that's flying under the radar but have an opportunity to be difference makers. We're talking about those guys coming up next.
Today's episode is brought to you by Mazda's moving the game forward. For those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. There are moments that do more than put points on the board. They move crowds, move culture, and keep the game moving forward. And this week's moment that moved the game forward is the game-winning touchdown when Mississippi State upset number 10 Arizona State last weekend. Wide receiver Brennan Thompson caught the game-winning touchdown, a 54-yard play to score and get the lead. 6 catches, 133 yards receiving, and 2 receiving touchdowns. He moved the game forward, and Mississippi State are 2-0 coming off an upset victory. Talk about setting and moving the culture forward. When you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. Thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and everyday shot for being our everydayers. Those sleeper prospects that you need to watch in week 3 of the college football season for the 2026 NFL Draft. Keith, I go to Duke. They have a 6'6", 260-pound edge rusher, number 7, Vincent Anthony Jr., coming off a game against Illinois. This dude was absolutely balling. 3 sacks, a hurry. He had a pass on true dropback sets. His pass rush win rate was 60%. He had a good first step. He dipped and bend underneath the offensive tackles punches, but also he was able to play with power as well, try to work cross face on some counters, things like that. And they're playing Tulane. I believe they're going on the road. And one thing we know that travels well is your defense. So I expect Vincent, and I think this is a homecoming for Darian Mensah because he was at Tulane last year. So
yeah, he was. Yep.
So you're about to play Tulane. I would like to see. I think Vincent Anthony is a guy that everybody needs to pay attention to. Again, 6'6", 260, can get after the quarterback. He did a good job, setting the edge against the run. And this game is, I believe it's a night game too at Tulane. Yeah, help your quarterback out by sacking theirs.
Yeah, DP, I'm gonna say this. I'm looking at this college football slate, right? I have another sneaky upset game. And it's gonna happen in your neck of the woods. Vanderbilt at South Carolina. And the reason I say this is I'm looking at Vanderbilt, and there's 2 key players when we talk about sleepers to watch. Vanderbilt quarterback Diego Piava,
Yeah.
and then their tight end Eli Stowers, right? And this is a team Alabama came to them last year, right? But just battle tested team. They upset Alabama, right? Then was it Tennessee? It was a couple games last year. Vanderbilt, Texas. They were really close to beating Texas last year too. So this team is hunting, right? Like they're not it's not the same old Vanderbilt. They're ready to get after it. They're ready to play some football. I think under head coach Clark Lee, I believe it is Clark Lee. So I'm looking at that game and just looking at South Carolina and how they've been operating. The Virginia Tech game, Lenore Sellers had literally probably the best opening drive of any draft prospect that there was, right? He came out swinging, and then it seemed like from that point on, just the South Carolina offense, period, just hasn't all kind of molded and meshed together. And this is a version of what team is hitting their stride at this moment, right? Is Diego Piava combined with Eli Stowers, or are they playing more consistent football at the very moment than what Lenore Sellers and his crew are playing? So this can it can be a very interesting game, DP. Because Diego's he's another one of those quarterbacks that's a gamer too, right? Like, and those are the guys that you kind of hate playing in college football. Like, all right, this guy loves the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's willing to give it all. He can scramble a little bit, make a couple plays. Like that's the headache, guys. Especially when you're South Carolina, you rank number 11, and you're trying to get through this season. You're like, oh man, we got to deal with this guy. So we got to deal with this. I look at those two guys as sleepers to watch. Vanderbilt tight end Eli Stowers, and then their quarterback Diego Piava.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's a game I'll definitely be watching. I think Stowers has a chance to Stowers, I feel like he's kind of became a forgotten tight end in this class. Even though like he was one of the best in the SEC last year, with athleticism, run after catch, everything like that. It feels like I talked about this Texas A&M Notre Dame game a couple times today. I'm gonna go back to that game, Keith.
I have a feeling you're gonna be watching this Texas A&M and Notre Dame.
I'm gonna be tapped in, Keith. I'm gonna be tapped into this game, man. Malachi Fields, and we talked about Jeremiyah Love and being balanced. Well, I think CJ Carr understands. I got a receiver that I could just be like, he's down there somewhere. You know what I mean? When they played Miami, he just chucked one up to him and he went up and got it over the defensive back. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of what he can do for you. You know what I mean? But also get him the ball in some of the quick stuff, right? Like, because I had a comp for him, Keith, and I think this probably gonna be a comp I'm gonna really stick with throughout the draft cycle. Is Kenny Britt, who used to play for the Tennessee Titans. Big, strong, physical dude, but had more nimbleness than his frame would make you.
You know who that made me think of too? Kenny Britt. I don't know why, but he made me think of Hakeem Nicks also.
Yeah, that's another one. Yep, big body receiver.
And it might be an interesting Chris Bell type conversation too. Like this.
Facts. So I look at Malachi Fields. I know that they got Jaden Greathouse. They have Faison. Those are the speed, route running, undersized guys. CJ Carr, I want to get the ball to your big possession guy, right? You know what I mean? I go back to that Baylor game when Baylor needed a play. They isolated Josh Cameron. They went to him. Arizona State, when you needed that slant, you know what I mean, against Mississippi State, 1-on-1 against man coverage, you isolated Jordan Tyson. You ran the slant. He won. Do those type of things for Malachi Fields. Give him those type of targets because he can put his back to a defensive back and box him out at the catch point, even though in breakers and stuff like that, man. I think this is a very underrated wide receiver. I just hope that they can get him the ball enough to really let him showcase what he can do.
Yep. Well, DP, that wraps up another episode, man, of the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast. I want to end this podcast off by saying shout out to our everydayers. Thank you for tapping in with us each and every single day. I am Keith Sanchez. You can find me on X at The Talent Code. That right there is my guy, my co-host, Mr. Damian Parson. You can find him on X at DP_NFL. And like we like to say, man, y'all come talk to us because we like to talk back.
Go subscribe and follow for free on YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts, to get the latest episode as soon as it is available. So come and join the conversation again tomorrow on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.